Hey, it's JP on the Mixed Morning Grind. Special guest joining us on today's show from Involve Mortgage Group, an accredited mortgage professional, Sandra Forscutt. Sandra, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for joining us today. We got lots to talk to you about mortgages and interest rates and the real estate market and all this. But how long have you been involved in the mortgage business?
Oh boy, I've been on the A side of the business since 2008. So I got my license in 2007. I was in private finance for a bit and then moved over to the A side in 2008.
And you work primarily here in the Heartland as well as Sherwood Park, Fort Saskatchewan. You kind of cover all over the place.
Yeah, you betcha. You betcha. Actually, we can do all of Alberta, but primarily, yes, Fort Saskatchewan, Sherwood Park, Edmonton, those are the main areas.
Gotcha. All right. Well, let's dive right into it here. In my experience, a mortgage broker kind of the first stop, or at least it should be when it comes to your home buying process, because without a pre-approval, the fact is a lot of real estate agents aren't really going to talk much to you, and you won't have that power, that buying power, and all of the information that you need going into the process. Would you agree with that you're probably the first stop?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I should be.
Yeah.
I think that it's really important to talk to a mortgage professional to make sure that not only are you pre-qualified, but that everything's really been looked at, and to also have your realtor be at ease when you do put pen to paper on that offer to purchase, that you are going to qualify for the amount that you're writing on.
For sure. And now, what do you need when applying for a mortgage? Because, it's maybe a new thing for a lot of folks. And that's kind of why I wanted to talk to you, Sandra, with people diving into the real estate market. What is it that you need when you go to Sandra Forscutt at Involve Mortgage Group? You hand over your papers. What should be involved in there?
Well, I mean, that's it's such a loaded question because everybody is completely different. So the first step is to have a conversation on the telephone. From there, we'd gather an application form, put everything together. And once I've seen the whole picture, then I can come back with the paperwork that I'll need. So obviously somebody who's salaried is going to be different from somebody who's self-employed. An hourly employee is handled a little bit differently. So we really need to get the application in first in order to know what we're going to need to qualify you.
For sure. So that is the thing, is it's more than just one thing. It's a mixture of a bunch of different things all together. And you look at it as kind of a final product with the equation. As far as specifics go, could you give us any sort of specifics on maybe like a certain credit score that you need to be above, or things of that nature, where, folks who are maybe working towards something can kind of narrow it down to concentrating on a few things to get those improved to maybe one day qualify for a mortgage?
Yeah, you bet. So like I said, I mean, the first stop is to have that conversation with a mortgage professional, because from the application, we can see whatever barriers are going to come up. From a credit score perspective, the insurers are going to tell you that they'll look at anything 600 and above. But the reality of it is they like to see your credit score at least be around that 650 mark. If there are things that have happened over the years, we need to talk about them. The more that I know about you, the more that I know about your story, the easier it is for me to be able to sell you, because from a lender's perspective, they don't know who you are. So my job is to sell you, make you awesome. What are the things that are going to make them want to lend you $250,000, $500,000 to purchase a home?
So that kind of feeds into what your responsibilities are as a mortgage broker, because for a lot of folks, maybe from a previous generation or folks just coming in, they may not know that it's not just the banks anymore that you go to. It is mortgage professionals, and that's where your job comes in.
Yeah, you bet. So my job is to be a professional shopper. I wish it was something as exciting as shoes and purses, but it's for mortgages. So
Yeah.
the idea is, again, to have that conversation, talk about your specific situation. Every lender is going to have different nuances that they offer, different products and procedures that they go through. It's really important to note that a mortgage is a product. It's no different than buying a car. If you tell me you want a yellow car, well, we need to talk about, is it going to be a Ferrari, or is it going to be a Volkswagen, or is it going to be everything in between? So when we talk about which bank or financial institution that we put you with, a lot of it is going to be down to what the consumer needs in their financing.
Right. So now it's not just when it comes to, buying a new home, there's other things that a mortgage professional can help with. And I'd imagine, it's talking about the situation if you're maybe selling your old home going into a new home, or if you're upgrading, if you're going through a divorce, maybe, and splitting things up. What are some of the other services that you offer in regards to that?
Yeah, you bet. So the obvious is the purchases, whether it be first-time home buyers going into your second home, so on and so forth. We also do refinances. We can help you set up lines of credit. At the end of the day, mortgage or mortgages are probably going to be the most expensive loans that you're going to have. So we can offer all of the products in between. And a lot of times, from the client perspective, if you work with a professional who's been around a long time, we can also help you with other products, not necessarily personally, but help guide you to the right people that can get you towards your financial goals.
Absolutely. Now, Bank of Canada upped the interest rate just this past week, and obviously that has a big impact on a lot of things, including mortgages. Can you kind of break it down for us, what it means for maybe someone looking into get in the housing market, or maybe someone looking to refinance here in the next little bit?
Yeah, you bet. So the Bank of Canada raised the rates by a quarter point. That was fully expected. What that means for the consumer is that that's going to affect anybody that's on a variable rate mortgage or has anything on a home equity line of credit or a line of credit. That's going to raise your rate by that quarter point. So for the fixed rate mortgages, that doesn't necessarily reflect what they are doing. Those have gone up quite a few times over the last little while and are more than likely going to continue to do so. But it is important to note that those are two different things. And again, that's why it's so important to talk to a professional.
Now, when you talk to a professional, like if you come and see you, Sandra, you can lock in a rate, correct? Like if you go in, considering how volatile the world is, that might be the best course of action, is to at least talk to the mortgage professional early, because we kind of see it going up, don't we?
We do, yeah. I mean, I would love to tell you different, but the reality of it is that we were quite low for a long time and we were very spoiled. So the reality of it is that there is inflation happening. The oil is moving, things are happening in the world, and that means that the rates are going to go up. So what we can do is we can hold that rate for you for up to 120 days. So whether you're going out shopping or whether you're thinking about, breaking your contract and doing things a little earlier, or whether you're thinking about refinancing, there is that 4-month period in which we can hold the rates.
Now, I know that you're not a real estate agent, but I'm sure that you notice that the Fort Saskatchewan market, the Sherwood Park market, red hot right now. The amount of homes for sale isn't really keeping up with demand. What does that mean from your side of things? Prices have definitely shot up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really speak on the prices just because I'm not a realtor, but things are definitely moving. I think the one thing that I can say is it's really easy for buyers to go in and say, I don't want to have any conditions because I talked to a mortgage professional. The answer is no. Please put conditions on your purchase. Make sure that we're going to have those dates to be able to hit, because even if you've been pre-qualified, there are things that can still go up. You are purchasing a home, and sometimes there could be things maybe in the home itself that aren't approved, even though you, the buyer, are. So if I can say anything, just again, please put those conditions on. Make sure that we've got some time to get the financing. I know that it's really hot and it's tough to have to walk away from somebody who doesn't want to put conditions on, but cover your butt and make sure they're there.
Totally. And that's the thing too, is being prepared through this whole process is kind of more important than ever, given the fact that houses are getting sold so fast.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's why when you're setting up your team, mortgage professionals, realtors, inspectors, you want to make sure that your teams, they're professionals and they've probably been in the game for a little while and can really help you, because it is overwhelming. It's a lot. And right now, because it's so hot, again, it's really easy to get caught up in that. So just have a good, solid team around you.
And there seems to be kind of a fog around anything financial. There's kind of what people say, what is actually the truth. It's hard to decipher truth from fiction these days. Do you have common questions that are asked of you, Sandra, or maybe misconceptions when it comes to mortgages that are maybe some things that people get caught up in?
That's a tough question, because again, every person in every situation is completely different and everybody's goals are completely different. The one thing that I can say is that when you are working with your mortgage professional, I know that they ask you a lot of personal information. And unfortunately, right now, we're very heavily regulated. So basically, to get qualified, I probably almost want a blood sample from you and your firstborn. But it is a process, and just be as open and honest as upfront as you can be, because my job isn't to tell them absolutely everything, but my job is to sell you to the lender to make sure that you're qualified and they lend you the money.
Awesome. Sandra Forscutt from Involved Mortgage Group. Sandra, anything else you want to
add? No, I think that's it. Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate the time.
Hey, no problem. Thank you for giving us so much insight into this and mortgages and all that's going on right now from that side of things with the interest rate and everything. So if you want to find out more about Sandra, where can they reach you, Sandra?
Well, you can certainly give me a call, 780-905-6359, or visit my website, sandraforscutt.ca. Of course, we've got an awesome team of mortgage brokers at Involve Mortgage Group, so just visit the website, involvemortgage.ca as well.